Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another take of Zooming with Kaymitch. I'm excited to have my next caller on. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and add her whenever she gets on. Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, I'm good. Thank you for being a part of Zooming with Kaymitch and tuning in to my interview today. I appreciate you carving out time. Without further ado, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Dominique McBride. I is a recent graduate of the University of Arizona, but played the last 3 years professionally overseas, and now I'm a graduate assistant for the University of Evansville.
Awesome, awesome. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and ask the first question. So with you playing overseas, how was that experience and having that journey?
It was amazing. I would have traded it for the world. I played just 3 years professionally overseas from 2020 to this last April in 2023, and I completely enjoyed it. It was amazing meeting new people, new cultures, adapting to those cultures,
Mhm.
playing different kinds of basketball depending on where the country was,
Mhm.
whether that was in Hungary, New Zealand, Greece, a little bit of Luxembourg. It was amazing, and I wouldn't have traded the experience in the world. And I'm unfortunately am moved past that experience. But if I would have recommended it to anybody, I say if you have the opportunity, please go and do it.
Mm-hmm. That is so cool, being able to visit so many different places and being able to play, like you said, different playing styles of basketball is not always like the traditional way that we play here, but it's just so cool to experience and be a part of something that a lot of people don't get to experience. And so that's very, very
Yes.
cool. With that being said, like what made you kind of want to step into coaching and how did it come about being the opportunity to be at Evansville?
So getting to coaching wasn't always my path or my plan. I didn't really honestly think about it until the last couple of years of me being overseas, where I thought about my college experience and
Mhm.
I loved my experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I always thought, there's a whole new wave of generations of
Right.
players and leaders that are coming in, and they sometimes there's a disconnect between, the generations between coaches and players. And so I always wanted to make an impact in some way and serve others. So I was like, I can share my experiences, whether that was playing at Purdue or playing at Arizona, and
Mhm.
help mold future leaders, future athletes into, making sure that they had a positive college experience. And so that's how I got into coaching. And then it wasn't until, again, right when I moved back out of playing overseas into back home in Indiana, where I used my connections of my old director of basketball operations at Arizona, who's at UNC now. Her name's Jessica Carrington. She's amazing, and she reached out to the old Dobo, now an assistant coach at University of Evansville, passed my resume along, and so Coach Robin Sherwells reached out to me, and I was like, "Whoa, I wasn't expecting this, but it was amazing. It was great timing." I was like, "I absolutely would take this. They're an up and coming program trying to reshape the
Uh-huh.
program into bigger and better things than it has been in recent years." And so I was like, absolutely. I did that at Arizona, helping reshape a program into what it is now. And so I was like, absolutely, I will take this position. I get to be back home in Indiana. And so it worked out perfectly.
Wow, that is so cool how like past connections are now future connections and how you were able to take the experience that you had previously playing at really big schools to now another school, like you said, up and coming, trying to really work on his game and what you can add to those girls. That's so cool. I think that's amazing for sure. And how the
Thank
journey
you.
came about. Next question. What are like your daily duties as a graduate assistant?
I mean, what is in my daily duties? You get to do a little bit of everything,
Right.
and as you know from experience. But first and foremost, you got to help the coaches, assisting them and all the work that they do, and they put in hours day in and day out to help these players and help these leaders, grow and help the program grow. And so that's first and foremost, help the assistants, help the head coach in anything that they need. So whether that's our recruiting coordinator. I help with recruiting coordinator duties. I help especially our DOBO, our director of basketball operations, with any duties that they need. helped with, whether that's travel, whether that's meals taken to our lounge, things like that, setting up for practices,
Yeah.
um, helping run individuals or help run practice, getting into play sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, exactly. I'm like, I might be, fresh out of playing overseas, but I'm retired now. I'm not the same what I'm used to, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But and it's fun. I still, you can't help but still enjoy playing the game. But I also am help doing social media work as well. I'm our social media liaison. I do a little compliance work, and I uh, especially, really get to connect with the athletes and really build those relationships and again help them grow and help them succeed and share my past experiences to help them in their experiences now.
I love that for you, being able to dibble your hands in some of everything. So when it comes to like moving up in a position, you already know how to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It ain't like the coach is like, okay, you just got to do player development, or okay, you just run social media. Like you having your hands in a little bit of everything, and especially
Exactly.
times having to be in scout or whatever. Like man, like you said, I'm retired, I'm hurt now, but hey, you got to do
Right.
the job
You
done.
got to do what you got to do. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. And I know how big Indiana is for you. So how important is the basketball, being a native, and now being a coach? Like, what does that mean to you?
It means the world. Like honestly, if you're not from Indiana or don't have the grasp of Indiana basketball, it is bigger than it's like Texas football or playing football in the South. It is huge, and especially playing in a small town like I did in high school. Like it was, if you've ever seen Hoosiers, like the town shuts down. They're
Uh-huh.
all around, watch, packing the gym, and it was amazing. And my high school experience was amazing, and everything and everyone being backed behind our team, and so it's the same thing. Like Indiana basketball, it's just on another level, and so being able to like share that with the girls and sharing that experience and help like our recruiting in Indiana, and it's so amazing. And so I am so blessed to be back in Indiana. And so Evansville is right on the cusp of right on the border of being Indiana, Kentucky. But I'm like, no, this is Indiana basketball,
Uh-huh.
like through and through. It does not matter. I don't know Kentucky. I'm sorry. I know you're Murray State, Kentucky right now, but it's Indiana basketball. But it is amazing, and I'm so happy to be back in Indiana and playing overseas.
Mhm.
I missed it. I missed it when I was in Arizona, and so the fact that I'm back in Indiana, it means the world.
That's so good. No, the girls remind me, we have a couple of girls from Indiana and they make sure to remind me like, hey, Indiana is huge in basketball. And me being from Arkansas, I didn't know, but it is a really, really big basketball state for sure. So I know that
Right.
means much to you being back, and absolutely. Last question. How important is mental health to you in college basketball?
It's so much more than I think people think, and I'm so glad it's in a big conversation now these days than it was a little bit when I was playing, and then I'm sure before I was playing as well in college, that it takes up more. So okay, there's mental health, but mental health affects your physical health and affects your emotional health, your soulfulness, your everything. And so I really use that to express, like, I had my mental health battles in college, and I know lots of people do, but a lot of people don't share those experiences, which is fine. You don't have to, but I want them to be able to be comfortable in sharing those experiences and sharing, like, hey, my mental health isn't okay today, and it to be much more part of a norm than it is. And so I tell our girls all the time that yes, this is what you do day in and day out. This is what you
Right.
signed up for. This is why you're in college, but it doesn't define you. It doesn't make like this isn't your identity. And I struggled that for a really long time
Mhm.
where like basketball is all I knew. And of course, like I worked day in and day out to get to my position to be able to play professionally. But I didn't know like anything else past that. I didn't have an identity past that where I really encourage our girls like, hey, of course you can work day in and day out and play basketball, but discover yourself, make sure that you are well rounded and being sure that, hey, if you have a bad game, this isn't
Right.
the end of the world. Like
It ain't like that.
basketball like it isn't life or death. We are in a small rock in the bigger universe. Of putting a ball into a basket is not the end of the world, and no matter who makes it seem that it is. And so it is. Everyone says ball is life. Basketball it could be someone's world, but at the end of the day, it isn't who you are,
Mhm.
and it's an amazing game for sure, and everyone can love it. But at the end of the day, love who you are, love what you do day in and day out, past what's outside the gym, past outside you putting a ball into a basket, or past your daily responsibilities or your role on the court. So that's my biggest mental health message for our girls.
Great. That's so amazing. I love how you put that into words of like, it's not, it's, I was reading a book and I was talking about how basketball is like just something we do. It doesn't define us. We're a basketball player, yes, but we're also a human being at the end of the day. So it's not about being
Absolutely.
perfect. It's about, yes, loving and enjoying the game and what it brings, but also knowing at the end of the day, if something, else go wrong, I still have other things in my life where I can depend on and lean on. So I love how you're teaching your girls that, and what you said about mental health. It is very important. And so that's something that I really try to push as well to our girls. So I really appreciate
Absolutely.
as well preaching that to your girls. And that's really the whole biggest thing about me doing this podcast and interview, is about really showing people like, yes, we all struggle, as being coaches and leaders of players now, but now we're trying to tell players like, look, it don't have to be that way for you, and you can be so much more, and also be great at basketball, and also be great in life and mental health and everything else. So I really appreciate you carving out some time today, being a part of my Zoom, and I'll
Absolutely.
be seeing you very shortly.
Right. See you
I
next
wish,
Sunday for
yep,
sure.
next Sunday for sure. But I wish you the best of luck moving forward always.
Absolutely. You as well.
Thank you. We'll be in
Thank
touch.
you.